Hi everyone, this is Alicia, and today we have Pierre-Antoine from France. Pierre studied environmental engineering, science and management at Tsinghua University with a double degree with one of the leading French graduate engineering school in science and executive engineering. He's also working as a data scientist at Danone. I was so thrilled to have this conversation because we touched on so many topics around sustainability and startups, which are also two of my favorite interest areas. We covered the French social entrepreneurship landscape, data science and finance and sustainability, and people's behavior in environmental awareness in today's world. And this conversation highlighted the importance and upcoming trends in sustainability. And bear in mind, this was recorded back in December 2020, so some facts and opinions might have changed ever since. So without further ado, let us dive in right ahead. Hi, Pierre. How are you? Welcome to the podcast.
Hi, Alicia. Yeah, thank you for the invitation, and I'm very happy to have this conversation with you. So I'm Pierre-Antoine, so I'm from France. So I did my bachelor degree in France. So it was a 3-year undergraduate program to prepare French national competitive exams, kind of French Ecole. And then I joined Ecole des Mines, which is a French graduate school of engineering for a master's degree. And now I'm doing a double degree between France and China. So in China, it's at Tsinghua University, and I focus my studies on energy and environment on the one hand, and finance and data on the other hand. And I'm currently doing a master's thesis related to energy and markets. So during my undergrad studies, I was received in the French Ministry of the Ecological Transition by the Chief of Staff of the Minister. And after this meeting, I was sure I want to tackle global issues in a professional way, and especially ones related to the environment.
Awesome. Right now, what are you currently up to?
I'm intern in a startup, in a French startup. So I'm a CEO advisor intern. So the French startup is Lakaa. It's a clean tech startup, certified pending B Corporation and B Corp soon, but we'll talk about this label later. So this startup is located at Station F, so in Paris, and this is the world's biggest startup campus. And so this place has like a really great atmosphere to create solutions of tomorrow. And so in the startup, my role is multitasking, like it's about strategy, mainly about strategy and business development, and I completely work hand in hand with the co-founders.
Awesome. Cool. Can you give us a brief introduction of what your startup is doing?
Yeah. So at Lakaa, with the co-founders, we enable businesses like big corporations, like banks or any kind of firms. So we enable these businesses to get their employees authentically involved and united with concrete CSR actions, so corporate social responsibility actions at a national level. So today for that we have kind of like two offers. So originally, so we organize environmental actions for employees. So it's kind of environmental team buildings. So those team buildings are like cleanups, tree planting, or climate colleges. And for that, we have more than 300 local associations all around France, which are our partners to organize these actions. And and like today with COVID, it's unfortunately hard to gather people. So we had to reinvent a bit the the business model. So we have to adapt due to the outbreak. Developed a second offer, which is a SaaS, so a software as a service. So it's a platform, and as you know, this is the best business model for a startup today to have monthly recurring revenue. And so this platform allows the monitoring and sharing of CSR actions of all establishments of the firms. To be clear, the establishments can use the platform to show what they are doing, like using green electricity, recycling some stuff, or even like organizing events with local associations. And at the end, this platform is not only useful for the CSR office, but also for communication and marketing offices. And we definitely believe it's not about greenwashing because it allows firm to communicate about good actions, positive actions that they already do.
It also kind of makes CSR actions and things like that more transparent, right?
Yeah, exactly. It highlights all the CSR actions that are put into place into the establishments.
Just curious if only large companies are doing this, or is also like smaller companies?
So all companies like want to have their CSR. They want to communicate about their CSR actions, but the platform is really more useful for big companies because the platform can gather all the establishments, and the monitoring is harder when you have a lot of establishments. It's like if you take like a bank like BNP Paribas, which has like more than 1,000 retail banks all over France. It allows BNP Paribas to know what are the CSR actions of all the establishments. Today, it's impossible for them to have a good monitoring of that.
So your startup is kind of a social enterprise, right? Yeah. Do you think there are any differences between a social enterprise and a non-social enterprise?
Yeah. Like today, I think there's a real big difference. So we talk about like for-profit structures, of course. A social enterprise like can be defined as a firm which are seeking to maximize profits while maximizing benefits to society and environment at the same times. So we can, and today for social enterprises, we can consider like two aspects. There are some labels and also the company status, which make a difference between an enterprise we can define as a social enterprise or a non-social enterprise.
This is a question that I've been thinking. Like, do you think in the future, there's not going to be a difference anymore? It's just going to be enterprise, but all enterprises will become social.
Yeah, I mean, I think that would be a dream. So yeah, I think things are going better and better, but not for the moment. Because like today there is so I was talking about the labels. So there is like a really famous label which is a B Corp or B Corporation, and there are more and more companies who want to be defined as a B Corp company. So about the B Corp certification, so the B Corp label is a certification of social and environment performance. So today it works in the US, Europe, Canada, Australia, but not in Asia for the moment.
Because you mentioned about B Corp the last time we spoke, so I looked up Malaysian B Corp companies. There's only one company that has a B Corp label.
Yeah, but
how many B Corp companies are there in France, for example? A rough idea, if you have.
Yeah. So because like with the startup, we want to get the B Corp the B Corp certificate. So for now we are pending B Corp, but we will be soon a B Corp company. So in the world, there's like 3,000 firms certified B Corp, and more than 100 in France. So it's already a beginning, but there is really more and more enterprises who are certified B Corp. I hope in the future there will be most of the companies.
Yes, me too. How's the social enterprise landscape in France?
Yeah. So, like I said, around 100 companies in France are certified B Corp, but there is something new in France about the social enterprises. It's it's called like in the US, it's called the benefit corporation. You know, so the benefit corporation is related to the company's status, and so it's for profit corporate entity, and it's about the positive impact on society, on the workers, on the community, and on the environment, in addition to the profit. So you need like to define in your statutes that I want to have a positive impact on society, the environment, etc. And to define your enterprise. If I can give an example it's for example the case of the brand Patagonia in the United States.
Yes.
Yeah,
I love it.
yeah, same.
I love it so much.
Yeah, and in France, one company which is listed on the French stock exchange that became a benefit corporation recently. It's Danone, a world food company. And today in France, there are more and more companies who want to be defined as a benefit corporations. So there is also, I can have like my two other examples in France, and it is in the textile sector. There is a brand called Farguo. It's funny because it means France in Chinese. So perhaps they want to develop their brand in China. And also another brand called the French Pants, which are underwear clothes that are made in France, and they control all the production chain. And there are more and more companies today. But I think that this true example shows like a very big issue about sustainable fashion.
Well, that's very exciting. In Malaysia, I think we still have a pretty long way to go. About the benefit corporation, is this like a general thing? Is it also similar like B Corp or a general name that we have?
So we need like to pay attention about this difference, because the benefit corporation is related to the company status. So it's more like global for all the company. And the B Corp is issued by by VLab, which is a non-profit organization, and this is a label which is recognized all around the world. So for the benefit corporation, you need to write in your statutes that you want to have a positive impact. And for B Corp, it's a test. Like you need to perform in two categories defined by B Corp to get the label.
Cool. You mentioned that you will be going to Danone. So like I'm curious on how do you usually choose which company you want to join?
So that's why I took the example of Danone. It's not randomly. When I'm looking for internships or for a future job, and I really want to work for a company which is concretely involved to make things better in our world. So kind of a company which is on the same page as me regarding my will to make our world going in a good direction. And so that's why I made a choice to join Danone. So for my next internship starting in January as a data scientist in Self, because I mean I really found myself in the motto of the company, which is one planet, one health. So the purpose of Danone is to bring health through nutrition as many people as possible.
That's awesome. For the listeners that are not familiar with Danone, what does Danone do?
So Danone is a world food company which sell products about food.
So you mentioned that you are interested in finance and data, and you're now studying in the School of Environment. So how does finance and data link to sustainability for you?
Yeah. So like I said, yeah, my life goal is really to use data and finance in order to improve like our environment. But when I talk about environment, it includes the social aspect, of course, social and environmental aspects. That's why I also hesitated to do an internship in investment banking about social investment solutions. So I think that today there is more and more ways to use data and finance for good, so for a more sustainable world. And yeah,
Yes.
so first about finance, for instance, there is like the CEO of BlackRock, Larry Fink. He said that
Yes.
climate crisis will reshape finance. And so
Yes.
like today, like ESG, so environmental social governance criteria are more and more important when you consider your financial investments. So you need to include
Exactly.
more like climate risk, natural risk, or also outbreak risk to the financial pandemic risk to financial models. So I think today for finance there is a transformation of investment models, and there is also new financial products like social impact bonds, which is a kind of bonds whose outcome is a social return over investments. So you need to quantify this social return over investments for your financial model. But this kind of financial products are renewed today.
In the future, impact investing or social bonds, green bonds, and you mentioned last time blue bond. Do you think these type of things in finance will be the new norm?
Yeah, I think for the moment it can be the majority because it's quite new, but there is like more and more sustainable investment, and I mean like considering the long term, I think
Yes.
not in the close future, but it can be not the majority, but a big part on investments will be, in my opinion, for sustainability.
Yeah, very true. Because you mentioned BlackRock, and I saw I think a letter that Larry Fink wrote.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he talked about how BlackRock is not gonna invest in oil and gas and companies that are not forward looking. And
Yeah,
that was a really big move. I think as a huge player in the finance industry,
yeah.
that is definitely going to change things. So, what are your thoughts on people's behaviors or their sentiments towards sustainability right now?
I think that due to COVID-19, I think that many people realize that things are going wrong with our planet, about the environment. In my opinion, I think that things are going better and better. That people are more and more educated about
Yes.
sustainability issues, and I think that so there is today a big awareness about this topic on the internet, on LinkedIn, on
Yeah.
Instagram, on Facebook, on the media, and I think especially for young people,
Yes. Yes.
I think that it's really important to have this awareness for the youth, because young people of today are the leaders of tomorrow.
Exactly. Adding on to that, I think now it is not even an option to choose to want to be sustainable.
Yeah,
I think it's kind of mandatory for us, especially the younger generations, to learn about sustainability. Also super interesting, the people in our generation specifically, that we are growing out of the old model,
yeah.
going into the new sustainability world. And if this is successful, it will be good, but then there's also a chance that this could go wrong.
Yeah.
So it's a very crucial point that we're talking about these things right now.
So yeah, I think you're definitely right, and there is some hope about that, because learning through education in my opinion, this is the best way to raise awareness and to make things change.
I guess like to change things like that, like shouting at people and stuff, wouldn't work. It's only through conversations and calm, peaceful ways, like showing people that vegan food is good. Those kind of ways, I think those will definitely work. So, PA, I actually prepared some facts. Yeah, because since we're on sustainability, I figured that there are a lot of crazy facts out there. So I will throw you some facts, and then you can tell me if you think I'm lying or they're actually facts.
Okay.
Since the 1950s, around 8.3 billion tons of plastic have been produced worldwide.
Yeah, I think it's true. I mean, I don't know the exact number, but there is a lot. And the thing is with plastic,
Yeah.
is this still in the ocean. So when the plastic finishes its life in the ocean, today the plastic which was produced like 20 years ago, this is still in the ocean.
Yeah. And you know what's crazier? You're right. Like, this is actually a fact. That's equivalent to the weight of more than 800,000 Eiffel Towers.
Wow.
Yeah. And the craziest thing is that only 9% has been recycled.
Yeah.
So about 7 billion tons of plastic is still out there. Second fact. Worldwide, about 2 million plastic bags are used every minute.
2 million?
2 million plastic bags are used every minute.
Yeah, I think it's true. And maybe the worst is the thing is, it is really often single-use plastic bags, and that's really harmful for the environment.
Yeah, it is true. Plastic is killing more than 1.1 million seabirds and animals every year.
Yeah, and the thing is, I know this fact because it's around 1.5 millions of seabirds which die each year because of the plastic in the ocean. Sadly.
Yeah. You're very knowledgeable on this. And yeah, it's so, like, for me this is so shocking because we can actually we can control this. It's something that it's within our control, but
Yeah.
we're still doing it because of convenience. So this is definitely something that has got to change. Do you mind sharing with me what shocked you the most as well?
Yeah.
About people's behavior or just anything.
Yeah. To speak about people behavior, what if there is just one thing that shocked me the most, it is really like the single-use plastic in China.
Yeah.
Because like when I arrived in China, that was the first time I went abroad for my studies. So that was the first time I lived in the foreign country as a resident, and I was able to observe the way of life. Like about China, there is no doubt that China is really the country of food delivery. Like every time, Meituan, Ele.me. So those are the Chinese Uber Eats or Deliveroo. And every time I went to the canteen on campus for lunch or for dinner, I saw a delivery driver of Meituan or Ele.me. And that was crazy because like every trash was a bundle of single-use plastic thrown by students who just had their meals. And the thing is, above all, this plastic is finally not recycled, and it finishes its life in landfills or if it's not in nature.
Yeah. Like, okay, I want to add to that because when I went to China, I didn't know how crazy delivery is. It's starting to come to Malaysia right now. I mean, because of COVID as well. Like, everyone has been at home, so we do a lot of delivery in Malaysia, starting to. And I'm afraid that it might be like the volume in China, you know?
Yeah.
So what happened? Like
I remember very clearly that every Friday, we used to have very packed day. So we have the morning class and then the afternoon class.
Yeah.
But then these two classes are very close to each other, and then we don't have time in between to have lunch. So everyone would order in class, in the morning class, and then get our lunch for Waimai
Yeah.
at the other building. I remember before the class starts, there will be one huge black plastic bag with all our trash in it.
Wow.
And people are just like mindlessly ordering a lot of food, plastic bags that are, you know how Chinese restaurants, they focus a lot on the presentation and the 5-star ratings. So they want it to be very beautiful and like premium, so they use even more packaging. So every Friday I see bags, and like there was this one time we even had 2 bags of just Waimai plastic.
Yeah,
Delivery
that's
plastic.
huge.
And I was like, oh my god. Yeah, and that's only for one class, my class, during that one period. I can't imagine if the whole school does that every day. And I'm sure many classes do that. It's really sad, but hopefully this 2060 carbon net neutral thing is gonna accelerate the rate of the reduction of the single-use plastic. And I heard like in Tsinghua they're starting to do recycling. Like it's compulsory to recycle already.
Yeah, that's good to make recycling and not to use every time single-use plastic, to make it like an habit for students.
That was really sad. Like thinking about it, I'm so sad. Think of all the seabirds that will die. So what would be ideal? What can we all do?
I mean, so it's more about my ideal. So my ideal is that everyone is aware of sustainability. But so we have some. So that's first step. So what we can all do. I think there's like kind of 3 levels to act. So first, like us, so the people, with our behavior. So as we told before, to change our behavior. But I think there are other solutions. So I mean, like a second solution can be about firms and startups that develop more sustainable businesses, more sustainable solutions. And I think you can figure out that working in an incubator. I think another solution, like the third one, is really about the governments and international institutions.
Yes.
And because they have the power to add legal constraints to firms and to people to make sustainable solutions more competitive.
Exactly. I like the fact that you brought up how on the governmental level they have more influence and power, and that would definitely be, I think that would definitely be more efficient when it comes to changing the individual level of behaviors, because that's like the large environment, and then changes the firms, and then ultimately us. And I think that's one way to see it. Also the other way is like bottom up. So the individuals also have to like exert this demand, like create a demand for the companies, for firms to see that, okay, people do care about sustainability. So I guess we have to actively choose the type of products that we want. Like we have to actively check labels for shops to also start offering more sustainable products. I think that would be super helpful. Right now I was reading a book called New Power, and it was talking about how like the old model is gone. Well, it still exists, but then now there's a new power where power is actually on individuals, and it's decentralized now. So everybody actually will have like an influence around the people around them.
Yeah, there's definitely like the power of the mass, like all the mass of the people who can change, who can make things change.
Yes, and I think once we actually change it, I think it's something that's new. Like this has never happened before. This climate crisis. People have been talking about it, but I don't think this has happened before where people and firms and the government have to come together and try to really change the behaviors and the habits of people. So this is all new, and which I think it demands for a new type of way to push this, because like ever since we were born, ever since our grandparents were
Yeah.
born, this was never a concern. But then today it's a concern that's so real and that people still don't realize, which is why I also think that yeah, we need to be more serious about it. What is the message that you want to bring to this world, as well as a final message that you want to give?
Yeah. So yeah, if we consider the current period, so the current period is really really harsh. I mean, both mentally and physically speaking. So yeah, if I have one message to bring to this world is to continue to fight for your ideals, for your dreams, and with even more energy than during a business as usual time, in order to get what you want. Because everything is making harder with those crises. So I think it's really important to work on some, like having a kind of sustainable way of life. So trying to avoid sedentary lifestyle as much as possible, and even more with the current period with the COVID-19, and so both physically and mentally, and yeah. So for that, I suggest everyone to do a lot of sport, like running or sport at home with like jump rope or eat program, and also at the same time to be careful at what you eat. So so you can pay attention at Alicia's Instagram account to get ideas for meals.
Thanks for the shout out.
And yes, and the mental is also really, really important. So it's a time to discover a new to read some books. So I invite like everyone to read my favorite book of 2020. So this book is written by Kathy O'Neill. So she made an apparition in the documentary the Social Dilemma on Netflix, a well-known documentary today. So she's a former trader at Wall Street, and her book is called Weapons of Mass Destruction: How Big Data Increases Inequality and Threatens Democracy. And it deals with the omnipresence of algorithms and artificial intelligence in our lives, and it gives a very insightful view of the topic, and it's easy to read. You don't have to be an engineer to read that.
Oh, that sounds like a super interesting book.
Yeah.
Great recommendation. Thanks for advocating for taking care of the self, because I think that's something that a lot of people are not focusing on now. Maybe in March and in April people were focusing on that because they're like, oh yay, I have time for myself. But now as the economy is going into a recession and things like that, things are getting more difficult, as you said. So people maybe their focus is shifting away again. So this is a really good reminder for all, and to meditate.
Yeah,
perhaps.
definitely. So yeah, to talk about this point. So as for me, I started meditation recently, and yeah, to be honest, I had some doubts about meditation. I thought it was only for people who are high, but not at all. And, and at the end, it's easy to start meditation with some apps or looking on the internet. And yeah, I think it is a really good way to be more peaceful with oneself and with the world. And in my opinion, like everyone needs that in this period.
Definitely. So I guess that concludes our podcast. very, very insightful. I enjoyed it a lot because I'm also very big on sustainability, and very glad to have this conversation with you, who's also big in sustainability and
Yeah.
startup. I genuinely enjoyed this.
Yeah,
This
so
year.
yeah, many thanks to you, Alicia, for the conversation. It's always a pleasure to have some talks with you.